Oh. Oh. Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarataschaarteshvabhignaswarat Tene brahmahridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayaha tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi dharma projita ketavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Vaparerishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Trakritibihi Shushrushubistatkshana. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. Some years ago, many of us studied the Ramayana together. I think lots about us studying this together again, not from the narrative of Sri Tulasidasa, but rather from the narrative of Sri Valmikiji. We may do this. In one of these skandhas, there is a teaching on Mitra Dharma, which means what are the responsibilities of a friend? I'm checking in with everyone. Please share in the chat. Can you hear me and see me clearly? Okay. What are the responsibilities of a friend? One of these responsibilities, a friend challenges another to be their best version, challenges them to be their best. I had recently asked a group of seekers, what do people need? How can you help a person follow through with what they need? So I'm asking all of you, at an absolute level, what is our need? You can guess online. You can share here too. What do we need at an absolute level? Our absolute need. Yeah. Peace, happiness, and you're sharing acceptance, love, all correct. Let's summarize this with happiness. That's our final need, is happiness. Now we come down to a relative level, very much at a relationship level. What is our need in a relationship? Think about your cousins. Think about your coworker. What do you need from them? Love, support, and here many are sharing understanding. I also would share understanding. Just think of this environment. I hope you're understanding me and you're hoping you understand me. So happiness and understanding. Now we come to a tactile need, an immediate need of ours right now. It could be while driving, it could be while eating. What is an immediate need of everyone's? Oxygen, okay, yes. Security, good. Balance. Balance. We need balanced tires, a balanced diet. We want to balance our supply and demand on time. So here's a new acronym for everyone. HUB. What we need at an absolute level is happiness, relative level is understanding, and at a tactile level is balance. Vedanta and Bhagavata is a course, is a system for us so that following through with these needs becomes systemic. Often the word systemic is used in the negative. Systemic racism, systemic inequality, but systemic means a system is being implemented. So what do we do in this course? We focus on and try to invest in happiness, understanding, balance. I'll try to use simpler terms. We are a community that is coming to unity. Yes. What is the subject matter of Bhagavatam? It is oneness. Another word for this is unity. Our community is not of those who are like-minded, but right-minded. I'd qualified this recently. Suppose I'm a lazy person and I'm around people who are like-minded. Then we have a competition about who can sleep in the most, correct? So better than the term like-minded is right-minded. We are trying to be a right-minded community. Some review before we get into a very fascinating and practical class today. Srimad Bhagavatam has the subject matter of bhakti. Bhakti in English means dedication. Srimad Bhagavatam is an educational map. In our culture, we have historical maps like the Mahabharata. Srimad Bhagavatam is an educational map. And the visionary behind Srimad Bhagavatam is Rishi. Rishi who? Vyasa. Rishi Vyasa. In Sanatana Dharma, there is no founder. Unlike most other religions where there's a founder, if there's a founder, then everything that's associated with that is limited. Things that are created in time will be uncreated in time. Rishi Vyasa is not the founder of Sanatana Dharma, but certainly he's part of the foundation. The Vedanta Sutra, the Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, all of these are his vision. Zooming in more to the 12th skanda, the final section of Srimad Bhagavatam, is described as apashraya, the final support, or ashraya, which means refuge, or nirodha. Nirodha means dissolution. I'm pausing. Please share in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Okay. Please share in the chat if that changes, okay? We're having Wi-Fi complexities here. Nirodha means dissolution. And for those who know anything about the Yoga Sutra, and we will study this together soon, the whole purpose of yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Nirodha means to transcend, to go beyond. Vrittis means thoughts. See, yoga is not about the body and the breath. It's at least about the mind. It's about making the mind quieter. These vrittis are thoughts, and the source of them is the chitta, our inner world. Apashraya, ashraya, nirodha, these are the words associated with the theme of Skanda 12. In chapter 1, Shri Krishna shares, not Shri Krishna, Rishi Shuka shares with Raja Parikshita the different leaders that came after Bhagavan Krishna. And there's many chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam where lineages are shared, but what's distinct in this sharing is that these differences turned into divisions. Today, when we were driving to the ashram, I believe there was a funeral being facilitated at the fire department near the ashram, near Oaks Park. And we didn't have time to drive by there, but Vyasa had spotted. He said, how come most of the firefighters are boys? And then he had asked that. And, you know, for all of us, we just take that for granted. So I tried to share with him that some people think some things are for boys and some things are for girls, but that's not correct. To be a firefighter, anyone can be a firefighter. And my point here is that with us, there are differences between boys and girls. There's differences between those who have immigrated and second generation seekers, but there doesn't have to be divisions, though. Clear? That is what is unique in what is facilitated in this first chapter. Now the second chapter. The first chapter ends with when Bhagavan Krishna's form and name, Nirodha, were dissolved, then Kali began. I'm rereading the verse I shared with all of you. Vittam eva kalau nirnam janmachara gunodayaha dharma nyaya vyavasthayam karanam balam eva hi. What this verse is sharing in a simple way, that in the period of Kali, what is respected is money and power. Does anyone disagree? If you think of those who are most respected today, it's those who have money and power. When I was younger, I went to a lot of concerts, hip-hop concerts. And one hip-hop concert I went to, one of the opening bands was The Lox, L-O-X. How many of you have heard of The Lox before? Because you're all too old, that's why. And one of their famous songs is Money, Power, Respect. See, they studied Bhagavatam too. Money, power, respect. That's what happens in Kali. This is what's respectable, not qualities, not effort, but money and power. I had also ended last week's class sharing when money and power are one's focal point or locus for respect, then people start to disrespect Prithvi. They stop caring for the earth. And I had mentioned how clearly climate change is shared in Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter finishes with Rishi Shuka sharing when Rajas and Tamas grow, they grow in a cancerous way, that they're out of balance. Then Bhagwan incarnates as Sattva. And he does this to restore Dharma. The age we're living in, there's an imbalance of aggressiveness and laziness. And so Bhagwan will incarnate as Sattva, quietness. Then there will be Dharma. And so now I'm taking you to that verse where Bhagwan is born. The 12th section, the second chapter, the 17th and 18th shloka. 17 is the preface. This actually happens in 18. This is one of the final avatars. If you remember, we started studying the avatars more than 4.5 years ago. And I'd shared what the sequence would be. This is one of the final ones. Chara Chara Gurur Vishnoho Ishvarasya kilatmanaha dharma tranaya sadhunam janma karma panuttaye. Bhagavan Vishnu is the guru of chara and achara. He is the guide for that which moves, like you and I, and that which doesn't move. Animals, plants, stones. Ishvarasya akila atmanaha. He is the master of the outer world and is our spirit. Now, this is the more critical point. Dharma tranaya sadhunam, to bring back dharma. Dharma means responsibility, integrity for sadhus. Who is a sadhu? Tell me a characteristic of a sadhu. One who is inclusive, that's a characteristic, but another one who works for others. Sadnoti parakaryam iti sadhuhu, one who helps others feel accomplished is a sadhu. To restore dharma for sadhus, janma karma apanuttaye, it is the prayers and efforts of those who are noble for which Bhagavan incarnates so that they're not born again. Prayers work. Those who are inclusive, those who are serving people, that is their prayer. And Bhagavan does listen to these prayers. And so in the next verse, Kalkihi pradur bhavishyati. This is how Bhagavan incarnates as Sattva. He will be known as Kalki. Boliye Bhagavan Kalki ki jai. This is the Bhagavan Kalki that completes the Dashavatara. Lots of people sing and dance about this, but now you're getting to study this. Some description about what Bhagavan Kalki will do. Please note this. You may see him outside of your home one day. If he's coming to you, even if you run, it won't help. What is shared is that Bhagavan Kalki will move faster than Kali. Remember, Kali means fastness, but Bhagavan Kalki will move faster because he will be on a horse by the name of Devadatta. Devadatta. For all of you who are thinking about naming your cars, Devadatta is a good name. Actually, Chinmaya Niagara bought a new car yesterday. We traded in our Civic for CRV. So that's going to be the name for our ashram car, Devadatta. And what will Bhagavan Kalki be doing on this very fast horse? He will be correcting leaders. The problem that people are facing is because of leaders who are actually rajasic and tamasic. They're aggressive and lazy. Do you agree with this statement? I do. I work with lots of leaders, and I do sense a lot of laziness and aggressiveness. Some years ago, I spoke at a International Women's Day conference, and my discourse was about leading with courage. And what I shared with all of those business people, primarily women, was don't lead others, lead oneself. That's leadership that's sattvic and not rajasic or tamasic. One more insight before we get into the next chapter. When Bhagavan Kalki incarnates, Kali Yuga will end, and what Yuga will start? Satya or Krita. Both words are correct. I like the word Krita. It means to do. The point is, what you're thinking you say, and what you say you do. There's integrity there. When Bhagavan Kalki is born, Kali Yuga will end, Krita Yuga will start, and what will become the prominent guna then? Sattva. Yes, there will be more quietness. And so this chapter ends, and now we get into a very fascinating chapter. I really hope you have something to write with. There's beautiful, powerful frameworks that are shared in this chapter. Okay? I'm going to take us to the end and bring us back. I'm starting with verse 51. 12. Now we're in the third chapter, verse 51. And for those who know a little bit of Sanskrit, this is a very empowering, relieving verse. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti hyeko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Kalehe dosha nidhe, the age of Kali, is a treasure house, is filled with dosha. What does dosha mean? Interestingly, in Niagara Falls, it can mean dosa, correct? There's so many Indian restaurants in Niagara Falls. Dosha means faults, vices, deficiencies. Nothing works. I try to do this to be happy, but I'm never happy. That's the nature of Kali. He, which means but, eka mahan gunaha, the greatest aspect of Kali Yuga, the greatest aspect of being in a context of selfishness. Does anyone know? What's the best part about being in Kali? Internet speeds, yes? 5G networks, 6G networks, satellite networks. The greatest aspect is Bhagwan's expectations of us are very low. Those are good relationships, correct? When someone expects so little of you. But more specifically, Kirtanat eva Krishnasya. All one needs to do is Kirtana of Bhagwan Krishna. You don't have to go to medical school. I'm looking at all of the physicians, all those in residence. It says it right here. You don't have to get married. You don't have to be rich. All you have to do is engage in Kirtana. Think about Bhagwan, speak about Bhagwan, dance for Bhagwan like Rishika Andal and Rishika Mira. And what will you get? Mukta Sangaha, from all of our attachments. What comes with attachment? Being afraid, being angry. Param Vrajet. One will walk away, one will be free. Empowering, yes. You don't look very empowered. Feel relieved. You don't have to join the highest vocation. You can quit Vedanta and Bhagavata. Just Krishna, 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 Krishna. That's it. Let me elaborate a little bit. Rishi Shuka is the speaker. Raja Parikshita is the listener. This chapter begins with Bhu Hasati. Who is Bhu? The earth. A lot of Srimad Bhagavatam relates to the earth. And the earth, as she's seeing all of these leaders who are filled with aggressiveness and laziness, she laughs at them because they don't realize they're death's toys. That's a powerful thought, correct? These are our toys, these cell phones. Our kids have toys like balloons. But what does death play with? With us. And another strong statement Bhu makes, our universal mother makes, she's laughing at people who feel this body is going to last. She describes our bodies like foam. When you brush your teeth, if you brush your teeth, you would know this example. If not, then there'll be no relation here. When you brush your teeth initially and you put enough toothpaste on, there's a lot of foam. But as you keep brushing, what happens to that foam? and it goes away. Yes. Now, the next time you brush your teeth, I want you to feel the teeth itself are foam. The gums are foam. The blood is foam. So she shares all of this. And then when she shares this, Rishi Shuka is thinking with great, not trepidation, but in a proactive way. I keep saying Rishi Shuka. Raja Parikshita asks Rishi Shuka, how can I safeguard myself from Kali? How can I protect myself from experiencing all of this? What does Kali mean again? Most outwardly, darkness. More close, fastness. And most close, selfishness. So this is what Rishi Shuka shares, multiple frameworks. I will explain it a little bit now. You'll think about it. I'll explain more next week. In Krita Yuga, when creation was closest to the creator, then creation stood on 4 values. These values are Satya, Daya, Tapa, Dana. Dana. In English, Satya means integrity. Daya means mercy or grace. Grace is better, grace. Then Tapa means burning one's comfort zone, openness, being open to change. Okay. So again, integrity. Then I had shared about grace, openness, and dana, which means generosity. Now we fast forward to Treta Yuga. When creation became further from the creator, when we grow away from our own selves, these 4 vices start to be attacked. These 4 values start to be attacked by 4 vices. Here's what they are. Satya is attacked by Anrita. Anrita means disintegration. Daya is attacked by Himsa. Himsa means harm, harming. Then Tapa is attacked by Asantosha. Tell me what Asantosha means in English. Yes, dissatisfaction or discontentment. One who's never happy, one who's always bored. Okay? Disintegration, harming, discontentment, and Dana is attacked by Vigraha. Vigraha means conflict or being a standoffish person. Competition works too. Vigraha means to compete. In Krita Yuga, these values were in full effect. In Treta Yuga, they were reduced to 3/4 of their strength. In Dwapar Yuga, then it would be half. Half values, half vices. In Kali Yuga, 1/4. So 3/4 vices, 1/4 values. But at the end of Kali Yuga, there's no value, only vices. Everyone caught that? Period by period, 1/4 of the strength of these values is taken away. Now, let me share this in a different way. In Krita Yuga, people had 4 purposes in life: dharma, artha, kama, and mostly moksha. So that means position, possession, pleasure, and peace. As atrophy kicked in Treta Yuga, people no longer pursued moksha. Only dharma, artha, kama. Then in Dwapar Yuga, when Bhagavan Krishna was present, what went away? Dharma. People only lived for 2 purposes, which was artha and kama. Now in Kali Yuga, Some people share we only live for artha, money. Some people share we only live for kama, which is pleasure. Both are right. And what happens when one is filled with vices? Even that goes away. There's no purpose then. I think when we don't have purpose, we lose our value. Everyone's building this framework, seeing the structure. And for the sake of time, this will be the last thought I share. Next week, I'll share more about what happens when you lose yourself. In Krita Yuga, when everyone was strong inside and outside, the way for moksha or to be mukta was dhyana. The sadhana or practice to be free was dhyana. That's why we're having a course on the highest vocation, because so much support is needed to learn how to contemplate. Now, as people became weaker inside and outside, in Treta Yuga, they were no longer able to contemplate, leave alone those in Kali Yuga, okay? Then what did people engage in? The word that is used is yajna. That means macro rituals. Rituals, but these are big rituals with lots of people and lots of materials. Then, Dwapar Yuga, people are weaker inside and outside. Puja. Yajna shifted to puja, which is a micro ritual. Less people, less materials. And in Kali Yuga, when we are most weak inside and so most weak outside, what is Bhagavan's expectation of us on how we can be free? Japa. The word kirtana is used here, but it is japa. That's it. You can forget about everything I've shared, and many of you are good at this. But please don't forget japa. And Puja Swami Tejomayananda shared an awesome, awesome, awesome teaching. The age that we're living in, the state of mind we're in. 2 verbs. Take nama, give dana. Take nama, give dana. I feel they're related. The more nama you take, the happier you become. And so the less you need pleasure, possession, position, so you become more helpful then. Take nama, give dana. Anyone looking for a new tattoo? I endorse this to be a good tattoo. You can put it around your arm, right? Like that. Just like, I think it's Shang-Chi where he has all of those rings of power. That's our ring of power. Take nama, give dana. We will continue.